Warriors, I want to address something with you that I consider very troubling. Yesterday, it was announced that Congressman Hakeem Jeffries would be taking over Speaker's of the House, Nancy Pelosi's position in the next term, I guess you would call it. I know a little bit about Hakeem Jeffries because he represents the 8th Congressional District in New York. I'm a New Yorker. I live in New York City. And that area is basically Brooklyn, a very large area. Brooklyn is actually the 5th largest city in the United States, and also parts of Queens. What I want to say about Hakeem Jeffries, he's a politician, he's a lawyer, he's a father. What do I know about him? I know one thing. I know that Hakeem Jeffries is in full support of decriminalizing the sex trade. And I will speak about this, Warriors, because if I speak about it every single day, somebody out there has to listen to me. Now, you might say, what is she talking about? The full decriminalization of the sex trade, the best and easiest way I can break it down for you is brothels will be legal, pimping will be legal, sex trafficking will be legal, sex buying, legal. No accountability. When there's no accountability, people who wouldn't ordinarily buy sex are going to try it because, again, there's no repercussions, no accountability. Where there's money to be made, and we know the bottom line for all of these issues, money, money, money. No accountability, more people will be trafficked. The demand, as I always tell you, unfortunately, and I don't like saying it, is for children. Therefore, we will have more children trafficked. Now, Hakeem Jeffries, part of the House Judiciary Committee, Budget Committee, 5th term in Congress, prides himself on social justice. Well, I think this is one of the biggest social justice issues, because we don't really talk about all of the vulnerable girls, and there are some boys, women and men too, of color here in Brooklyn, Queens, where the sex trafficking, as you know, pre-pandemic, certainly post-pandemic, because my warriors report, they send me pictures, they send me text messages, they report what's going on right now in the streets in Brooklyn and Queens. We have open prostitution. I'm going to say, I don't call these people prostitutes. I call them prostituted people, because our studies are showing that some studies, over 90% are forced, coerced. There's a pimp, there's a trafficker behind them. They're not working of their free will, and they get them, the pimp, the trafficker, involved in crimes to hold that over their heads, especially the kids. They get them involved with drugs. So there's so much going on. So this is what I know about Hakeem Jeffries, a father representing these areas where we have this open prostitution. And I'm talking right now where women and girls are walking in the streets during all hours in front of families, approaching men, whispering things in their ears. This is not, some third world country. This is happening. It's happening in the Bronx. I think that's what we should be talking about. I think this is very scary. So now this is moving one step further into DC. And we need to rally up the troops. We need to keep an eye on this. I did right away, when I was hearing some rumors a while back that Hakeem Jeffries would be ascending into the position Nancy Pelosi currently holds, share that. And I said I couldn't 100% confirm it, but that I was hearing that he would be taking that position. And I shared this with people I thought that would really care, and we could start having some kind of counterattack, being prepared. Because the push here in New York is that whole sex worker. Now, we don't call sex work, and work is not sex. That whole push by the complicit media, pushed by those few voices that you would think or almost everybody, because they're so loud and they're given coverage and they're given, they're put in print and they're put online. No. And my warning fell on deaf ears. Nobody wants to hear about it. Oh, I got an "oh really" from somebody, but that was it. So now, as of yesterday, we know that Hakeem Jeffries is definitely moving into this position. He is for the full decriminalization of the sex trade, with the argument that it will lead to better health care for these workers, almost like they could, unionize. These are not workers. We at the Warriors work with boots on the ground, victims, survivors, people that are prostituted now. This is a shameful, shockful mark on America. And you all have to know about it, because you don't want your little girl or boy growing up and thinking they can be a fireman, a policeman, a teacher, a nurse, a doctor, a scientist, and a sex worker. And that's where this is all going. It is more of the normalization of the harmful sex trade. So I want you to keep following us, lynswarriors.org. I want you to keep watching these videos. I'm going to keep trying to put out more information. We have 2 radio shows now, Wednesdays at 3 on WVOX here in New York. Also, everything now, I say in New York, can go around the universe because we have the internet. And also recently we started TNT Radio Network out of Australia on Saturdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And that's a little more, what shall I say? I go a little further with that show. And we just started that. So we have some really good guests lined up and information you need to know. And in the meantime, while we at the Warriors are working so hard to enforce policy, create policy, work with legislators, get bills that are there reauthorized. A lot of red tape, taking a lot of time. But we can't give up and we can't give in. We have to keep our voices appropriately loud, because you know what? We have the truth and facts on our side. But what I need from you is to know about these issues. What I need from you is that you become that warrior in your own home and community. You protect your children. You arm them with the information. They hear it from you, because you certainly can't be with them 24 hours a day. They're going to have friends, go to schools. We have to keep an eye also on agendas in schools. We have to make it our business to participate in schools, whether that is absolutely knowing what the children are learning, what the curriculum is, joining the board. Parents, you've got to join up, whether it's class teachers, whether it's, going to the Board of Ed meetings. Be vocal, let your face be shown, know what's going on. No matter what, talk to your children, explain. We're in this transitional, I guess you would call it, scary environment. Just share with them, because that reality will not scare them further. It will comfort them knowing you're coming together and talking together. And in the meantime, it is the holiday season. I want to thank everybody for our Global Giving Tuesday, for their support and for recognizing us, watching these videos, sharing our information. Please, there's so much work to be done. I'm convinced when the rest of them are all falling down, I'll still be standing. I want you to be standing next to me. So come join us. And remember, community creates change. Every little bit helps. Do something in your community. But first, start in your home. Protect your children and grandchildren, family members. Always share information. Talk about it. Sounds simple, but raising awareness and communication, that's the number one thing. Many kids report to me that when I eventually gained their trust and a breakthrough, parents didn't listen. I had nobody to talk to. Parents too busy. I was afraid. Got to break down those barriers more than ever. We're now entering 2023. It's time to be a warrior.